Hello and welcome to this edition of Newsmakers, The Road to Success here on My Fox 8 Plus, the Fox 8 YouTube channel, and the Newsmakers Road to Success podcast. I'm Neill McNeill. We're so glad to have you with us. You know, two of the major stories we have covered during the past few years here in central North Carolina have been major economic development wins for this region, namely the Toyota Battery, North Carolina facility in the Greensboro Randolph megasite, an operation here that will eventually produce as many as 5,000 new jobs, and the Jet Zero announcement that it's moving its headquarters and manufacturing facilities to Greensboro and will eventually produce more than 15,000 jobs. A key person behind landing these projects is my guest in this episode. Marvin Price is the Executive Vice President of Economic Development for the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. And in this second part of our conversation, we talk extensively about those projects, and I hope you'll enjoy our conversation, which we begin with his definition of economic development.
Well, economic development is truly growing your community's economy. So no one pays attention to it, but it impacts everyone. And by golly, if economic development isn't working in your community, you'll feel it. You'll notice it because you'll notice that you don't have stores opening. You'll have companies leaving. You're noticing that people are on unemployment. You'll notice that the community has an increase in people filing for social services and those kind of benefits. Economic development for us at the Chamber is recruiting domestic or international companies to come into our market while also maintaining our existing industry. So making sure that we're keeping the companies that we have. So business recruitment is that offense, bringing in new companies, and our defense is our existing industry by maintaining the companies that we have in our community already.
I don't think most people realize the defensive component of that. So thank
absolutely.
you so much for bringing it up, and we'll talk more about that in a few seconds. But getting back to your day,
So the average day is you're going to come into the office. We're looking for opportunities. So we have a business development pipeline that we're tracking where we are on the offense, where we're talking to different companies. We're sending out mailers. We're doing marketing via the internet. We're making sure our LinkedIn is on point kind of thing. But also we're following up on those projects that we already have. We've already made contact with those companies. We've reached out to the site selection community, and we're making sure that the projects that we have in our pipeline, there's no outstanding requests. They're not asking for us to follow up about the capacity of Ward Road. They're not asking, hey, is Duke Energy going to be able to meet our delivery timeline by 2028 kind of thing. We're already answering those questions, and we're making sure that there's no follow-up on them.
What is the percentage of companies that come to you and say, hey, we're interested in Greensboro versus the companies that you have to go out and recruit, and knocking on doors and say, hey, you need to come to Greensboro? Is it about the same? Do you get more inquiries than you're going out to push Greensboro? How does that work?
Yeah, I would say early in 2020, it was very much us going out a lot.
Right.
I will say that has shifted significantly. We have a lot of companies that contact us and say, hey, we have interest in Greensboro. We have interest in Guilford County, and we want to explore. Now, they never say, hey, I want to be here. It's you guys are under consideration.
Right. What is the number one thing that a company wants to know about Greensboro when it first contacts you? Would it be, what's the shape of the schools? Is it the shape of the airport, the highway? I mean, what are maybe one or two big components that they're interested in that you see a lot?
You'll be surprised, but I think it's the business climate.
Really?
Yeah. A company is no different than a person. You want to know, if you move into a community, are people going to care about me?
Yeah.
If I pick up the phone, are you guys going to do what you said you're going to do?
Right.
Like, they want to know that your community is built on solid footing. What you guys said you're going to do, you're going to do. The business environment is friendly, is equitable, and you are responsive. You want to make sure that you have the labor force. So I would say the business environment and labor force are the top two.
Okay, so I would imagine the work the community colleges and the universities are doing to make sure the labor force is trained is huge.
Yeah, but I think you're missing one in that story. So it's a trifecta if you look at it. So you have the federally designated workforce board. So that would be Guilford Works.
Right.
Then you have the community colleges, and then you have the universities. So there's a touch point for any way of education to get those people trained up.
And you've certainly seen your success. Greensboro has certainly come a long way from the year 2000. It's hard to believe that's just 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Come a long way in a few years. I'm wondering, what does Greensboro need from an economic development standpoint right now that you think it doesn't have? What is a component that would really help you in your job right now?
More sites.
More land.
More ready, developed land with infrastructure already in place.
More mega sites.
I wouldn't say a mega site, but I wouldn't be mad if we had one.
Yeah.
But if we had more industrial sites that are heavy industrial at that, if I had maybe 500 to 600 acre sites that are zoned heavy industrial, that has the water, power, and sewer already there, I feel like we could run it up.
Talk to me about when Toyota Battery Manufacturing North Carolina came on the radar. When did you hear about it, and how did you hear about it?
Well, I heard about it from our president and CEO, Brent Christensen.
Right.
He has a great working relationship with the consultant team that managed that project. And when we got the opportunity and got the RFI, I will tell you that we combed through that RFI. I cannot tell you how many times. And we did it collectively as a team. And that's one thing that I want to make sure that I preface and really give just a moment to talk about. Economic development is a team sport.
Right.
While I'm on this camera right now, there's a team of economic developers from the Greensboro Chamber, Randolph, the Piedmont Triad Partnership, EDPNC, Commerce, that works together at any given time to make sure that these projects are landing. So when we talk about Toyota and the Greensboro Randolph megasite, that was a joint project. So the Greensboro Chamber managed that project, but we did it in collaboration with the North Carolina Railroad and also the Randolph County EDC.
And it was so successful. Here's the result. And this is aerial video of the megasite and the Toyota Battery North Carolina plant here, which will eventually employ more than 5,000 people, I believe, once it's fully up and running. It is totally an impressive facility. And what I don't think people realize is how big it is. I mean, that is just, you can't see it from the road either.
Yeah, so interesting factoid that I learned, and I was trying to put this into perspective before, but you could put the Four Seasons Mall out there,
right, 3
or 4 times.
Exactly.
It's massive.
Multi-million square feet buildings, and that's the main headquarters building you're looking at there. How hard was it to recruit Toyota when Toyota's executives came into town? Describe that experience. What exactly did you do with them, or were you a part of that?
Yeah, so was a part of it, and I would say, again, a team effort. The strategy is to make sure that you leave nothing up for chance. So the answer, we made it a point. Every answer was, we can get it to you in 18 months.
Okay. But did they want to know about the schools? Did they want to know,
absolutely.
Did they want to see the Tanger Center?
Yeah, so literally they came to visit several different times, different groups. But one thing, and this is the devil's in the details, those little nuanced moments to make sure that you have a lasting impact with the company. There's not one time that they toured the Greensboro Randolph megasite where they were not in a Toyota 4Runner.
Okay. Y'all made sure of that.
Oh, literally we made sure we had 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. That makes a difference.
It does make a difference to make sure that we're transporting you around in your vehicle. I think that would be that's a little nice cherry on top.
So did you have to go out and rent some Toyotas? How did that work?
Yeah, we did. It's not Rice Toyota anymore. I think
It's Greensboro Toyota.
Yeah, but we had a great working relationship with them where literally we could just make a call and 5 of them were ready. And I will say having to get 5 vehicles to one location is pretty challenging at times, but we made it a point to always be ready. But of course, they wanted to know about the school system. Very in-depth conversations with North Carolina State, North Carolina A&T, also making sure the school system, they wanted to hear about that. They also wanted to tour the community. So making sure we're giving quality of life tours. It was something to be seen, to see them in the Science Center.
Yeah.
And they also got on the carousel. But
really?
That was amazing. We have photos of that. But also to make sure that having an opportunity for them to actually eat at the Stephen Tanger Center for Performing Art before it even opened.
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty awesome.
That was before it opened.
And also making sure that they had an opportunity to see the community leaders as well. So it was an all-out holistic approach to trying to recruit them. I'm not going to say it was easy by any stretch of the imagination, because making sure that you can follow up on all of the promises that you've provided to this company. We told them we were going to incentivize the project, that we're going to make sure that it's permitted, that it was going to be graded. You make all these promises, but they want to understand how you're going to fulfill it. And I think we had an amazing team being able to do that.
Right. When you first learned that Toyota was coming here, how did that come about? And what was that like when you learned you had won the project?
Hearing from Brent Christensen, we got him. And it was just...
He said, we got him.
I don't know if it was we got him or is I can't recall, but I feel like it was we got him. But it was a level of excitement, and it was like I feel like it was the moment of like Michael Jordan, and he probably wouldn't want me to use Michael Jordan because he's a Duke fan.
Yeah, he would not.
Yeah, but that game-winning shot in Game 7, I just that determination of, again, the grit in this community that we made this happen. We got it done.
Before we move on to 2 other big economic development wins, you brought up something regarding incentive. I can't even say it. Incentives, business incentives. As you know, over the years, they have been quite controversial. There's a school of thought that people or these municipalities should not use my taxpayer dollars to bring these companies in. But from an economic development point, what do you say to people when you hear that criticism? Are incentives really here to stay, and you're going to have to offer incentives to remain competitive? Am I in the ballpark there?
Yeah, I think you would have to stay competitive. We need incentives, state and local. And the analogy that I would use to make sure it hits home is that right now you can buy a TV, a 50-inch TV. You can buy it from Walmart, Amazon, Target, Best Buy.
Right.
So if you know you can buy it from Best Buy, Target, Amazon, or Walmart, if you can go to any one of those stores and buy the exact same TV, why do you go to Target? Is it the rebate that they're offering? Is it the sale that they have?
Yes.
That's an incentive.
Yeah.
So if a company that is going to locate a manufacturing facility, I can locate it in Birmingham, I can locate it in Atlanta, I can locate it in Charlotte, I can locate it in Greensboro. Every last one of those locations, I think is this perception that my community is always going to be the best community. And I think citizens should feel that way. But if you're looking at it from an objective standpoint, why couldn't they locate it in Birmingham? Why couldn't they locate it in Charlotte? Why couldn't they locate it in Atlanta? Well, if every last one of those communities are offering incentives and we are not, well, we're the odd man out. Right. So I do believe that, again, and I want to make sure I drive this home, incentives are always paid post-performance, meaning that if the company does not do exactly what they said they're going to do, they get nothing. And it's only after they've paid their taxes, we verify the information, on an NC 101 that's from the state to verify that they did employ the people, that they did pay them the wages. We check with the county tax assessor to make sure that they did pay their property taxes as well, up to the value in which they agreed to. Then and only then will they get an incentive.
And they're very much aware of that because it's all spelled out in their contract. Before we move out to the two big economic development wins, I did want to touch on that defensive component of your job. And I don't think a lot of people realize that when they pick up a tube of Crest toothpaste, they're picking up a part of Greensboro because of a company called Procter & Gamble. And you and I were talking about how you've had to go on defense to help that company. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we have an amazing director of existing industry working for the Greensboro Chamber, Meredith Berger. Her role, her single role, is to go out and call on the existing companies in Guilford County. Our goal is to call on over 100 companies every single year.
Just to say, hey, how you doing?
Just to do a check-in, just to make sure. Because, again, we want to make sure before a problem happens that we're talking to you so we can know whether or not, oh man, they're not really happy with their labor force, or oh man, they're having some issues with trash pickup. We don't want something that could easily be solved to turn into a reason why when another community is calling them to say, hey, you're looking to expand, or hey, your lease is going to expire, we want to make sure that we're taking care of them on the front end.
So was this in a way happening to Procter & Gamble?
Well, I think in the Procter & Gamble situation, they had an opportunity to grow, especially with everything that was happening with COVID. So if you've ever used NyQuil, DayQuil, or any kind of quill that came from our Greensboro Swing Road facility. So having that need to expand, I know most people have heard of the company Procter & Gamble. Well, you have to recognize that Procter & Gamble could have did that expansion anywhere in their footprint. So we had to make sure that we put in a great business case for them to not only stay here, but to grow here. And we were fortunate to get that investment, but it also happened at the Brown Summit site where we were able to secure that investment.
And they're still here, making toothpaste and all the quills.
Yeah.
Got it. Have to touch on the airport. Do you consider the airport a mega site? I know a lot of people do.
I do consider it a mega site. And I will tell you the success that we've had at the airport. When you think of the airport, you should think of Kevin Baker and Alex Rosser. They are amazing, and I would put them up against any airport in the United States. They're amazing
Kevin
to work
Baker,
with.
the executive director.
Yes, sir, and his second in command, Alex.
Okay, and they have been keys. And let's talk about the one component that was there have been two major successes. The first one was this one, Boom Supersonic. Talk to me about when this company came on your radar. When did you first hear about it?
Yeah, so they came in through Kevin and an amazing project. So when you look at them and the technological advances of what they're trying to do to make sure people are connected across this country, I think is amazing. So from start to finish, again, making sure that we're putting together an amazing RFI, making sure that we're presenting our community and putting our best foot forward, and also hosting them as well, making sure that they understand what our community has to offer. One of the unique things that we did, though, on this particular project is making sure they understood that just because you're in Greensboro, just because you're in Guilford County, doesn't mean that you're not getting the best of the triad. So they didn't think we had a downtown.
Really?
Yeah, because to get them from the airport to the hotel, which was the proximity, you're just going down Bryan Boulevard, right? So to have that opportunity on their next visit to take them not just to our downtown, but to show them that we have a downtown in High Point, we have a downtown in Winston-Salem, and when you're in this market, truly, it's the power of three. So you have that opportunity to pull not only from the labor force from all three communities, but all three communities have transformative downtowns and great community feel.
So you took them to all three cities?
Actually, we had them come. We had our mayors come and have conversations.
Okay. All right, excellent. And even though they were considering the airport, you got no resistance from like High Point or Winston-Salem?
No, so goes Greensboro, so goes those communities.
Right.
We're a team. We're a collaborative environment when you think about that, because again, when you look at what they have to offer, it's complementary to us and vice versa. So I want to see Winston-Salem win just like they want to see us win, just like we want to see High Point.
Again, when you learned of the Boom announcement that they were, or when you learned of the Boom decision that they were coming here, what was that like? Was it another "we got them" type of moment?
It was truly like, you gotta be kidding me.
Really?
We can't be this lucky.
Yeah.
Like it made me feel like I should have bought a lottery ticket.
Yeah, I bet so. I bet so. All right, we've got to, in the interest of time, let's move quickly to the other big economic win, and this was a big one. This is Jet Zero. When did it first come on your radar? Do you remember when? And we're looking at the Jet Zero plane.
Yeah, so it was May, if I'm not mistaken. It was May of 2024.
Okay.
Where we had our first touch point with the company.
Did they reach out to you, or had you reached out to them?
They reached out to the state of North Carolina. So it was a nationwide search. They looked at 9 different states, narrowed it down to only 3, and we were fortunate enough to win. But this project, they came to visit several different times, again, making sure that we had the right labor force. How are you guys going to be able to train the people, but also not just train them, but what is the quality of life like to be able to attract the quality people that they're looking for? So being truly understanding of our communities, they actually did get in a bus, and we took them around Greensboro. We did drive them to High Point, and we did drive them to Winston-Salem to make sure they could get a feel for that. Because when you talk about over 14,000 jobs, you're not just getting that talent from Greensboro. You're getting it from the region and across the state.
So what was the key to landing Jet Zero? Was it the workforce that you mentioned, or was it all of the above?
I think it was our history in aviation. I think we've shown consistently that we believe in it as a community and as a state, because what the legislator has consistently done to invest in the PTI mega site, but also around aviation and the training. So the money that has been given to Guilford Tech and Foresight Tech to build out their aviation programs as well. So right now, Guilford Tech produces more AP certified mechanics than anywhere else in North Carolina. Right? So that's something that shows that we care. When you look at Andrews Aviation Academy, that's another thing right here in High Point.
Done stories on both of them.
Yeah, so that's another thing that shows that there's investment in our community around aviation. And to have a Boom say they want to come here to see everything that's going on with the airport, I think it tells that story collectively that we believe in it, and that this is a target industry that we want to continue to grow in.
Jet Zero also more recently announced that not only is it bringing its manufacturing operations to this area, but it's bringing its headquarters here. How significant is that?
I think it's a game changer. I think it changes the identity of our region.
Right.
I think right now, people have looked at our region as textiles, furniture, and tobacco for so long. And now I think it's fair to say that our region should be the hub for transportation innovation. So if it's on a train, plane, or automobile, innovation happens here.
Well, bringing the headquarters here certainly means a bigger investment, and certainly means they're dedicated to the community. I mean, that's a tangible thing to bring.
Oh, absolutely.
Does it worry you that when it comes to Toyota, Jet Zero, and Boom, it's a work in progress? I mean, the 2 aircraft manufacturers don't have a plane yet. Toyota focus mainly on electric vehicles, and we all know what's going on in the political world regarding electric vehicles. And I ask you that because I remember when this area won the FedEx package hub at the airport, that was a big deal, and then everyone started sending documents electronically, and that became less of a big deal. They have since come back. But does it worry you that some of these companies still have a ways to go?
I don't believe so. And I think maybe because I understand the business case for them. and I understand the technology and where they are. So when you look at EV or when you look at the EV charging and whatnot, Toyota is not just building batteries just for the EV, the fully electric car.
Right. And I've got some images here of some of the work that's been happening in that plant at Toyota here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But they're building the batteries for the hybrid as well.
Yeah.
So it's that idea that they're not just all in on one segment of the EV situation, but also when you look at Boom Supersonic, they've gone supersonic. They've done so much testing right now. So I truly believe that they're on the cusp of something amazing, but also for the amount of investment that they've gotten other VCs to believe in. And those are smarter people than me. And I'm pretty certain they're doing their due diligence as well. And the same thing for Jet Zero. For them to have a contract with the military, with the Air Force, I think that says a lot that the federal government believes in this technology.
And some of the major airlines.
Absolutely.
As well. 2 questions before we bring this to a close. One, where do you see Greensboro's future? I mean, where do you want to take Greensboro from here from an economic development standpoint?
From an economic development standpoint, I want it to be said loud and wide across this country that Greensboro is the best mid-sized city to do business in.
All right. And you've seen a lot of success, and you're still very young. I'm wondering, what has been the key to your professional success, do you think, at this point? What has really worked for you?
I think falling in love with the details, falling in love with the small, nuanced moments. We landed Clearly Clean. One of the cool things about that project, when we landed it, the CEO at the time, he's a big proponent of Diet Pepsi, not Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi. So when we found that out,
you got him Diet Pepsi.
And we made it a point to have a cooler of it in the car. So it's falling in love with those little small moments that no project is the same, that once you understand that and you can speak to solving the problem that that company has with solutions that your community can offer, that's why you're successful. And that's honestly why I believe that I'm successful. And I believe also having an amazing team in a community where your elected officials believe in growth and pro-business. I mean, honestly, how could you not win when you have all of those things working?
Marvin Price, the Executive Vice President of Economic Development for the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. It's been a pleasure and an honor talking with you today.
Likewise.
I learned a lot, and I'd love to bring you back here in a few months, maybe a year or so, and we can talk maybe about a few more economic development wins. That would be fun.
I guarantee it. I guarantee you a Los Chicos fajita bowl.
Okay.
The next time me and you have a conversation, there are going to be at least 1 or 2 announcements.
I will look forward to that. Marvin, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Newsmakers, The Road to Success. I'm Neill McNeill, and we'll see you next time.